I'm a phenomenon. Stacking cheese like it's Parmesan. 8 different flows, call me Octomom. I'm moving fast like the Autobahn. And I'm independent, so I'm not your fucking starving like it's Ramadan. Sick, twisted, gifted, can't copy, printed, can't hold me down. I shape shift, I'm liquid. I killed this beat, I might get convicted. They know how I move, it was predicted. Persistent, spoke it into existence, so consistent, no assistance. Hear me once, become addicted. If I rap it, then I live it. There's no cap, and I'll be spitting.
This ain't what you want, bitch, I'm a fucking phenomenon. This ain't what you want, bitch, I'm a fucking phenomenon.
Devil in a red dress, call 911, I'm a killer. You know I hate to confess. Bang bang, got my hand on the trigger. The devil in a red dress, call 911, I'm a killer. You know I hate to confess. Bang bang, got my hand, call
that the brothers on the rise now. Endless celebrations all in my house. Levitating now, I'm super duper fly now. London boy, but DC where I reside now. Put the time in while you always yelling time out. And for quit it, cause I know I'm coming with it. You were sitting, you were wishing I was handling my business. Now I got the ball like Harry Potter playing Quidditch. And my business is humongous, you would think that happens in there. Oh man, I'm all that, yeah, I'm all that. Looking for that whip, yeah, that what you call that. I'ma blow up in the summer, have them yelling fall back. And I've always been ahead like an effing ball cap. Man, I came in the game like, whoa. Got a couple chains on me cause I like gold. They told me I'm the best and I told them I know. Cause when I'm in your town, every ticket I sold. Yeah, they saying I'm the man. Facts, bro. Lot of haters, tell me where they at though. I'm the new pop, all I do is rap though. Want me on your song, throw a couple stacks, yo. Woo! Everybody wanna do the same thing, yup. That's why we ain't on the same page. Do my own thing, and I maintain. Flow like water, so I'm going mainstream. I'm going mainstream. Flow like water, so I'm going mainstream. Yeah, I'm going mainstream. Flow like water, so I'm going mainstream. I'm going mainstream. Mainstream. Flow like water, so I'm going mainstream. Yeah. I'm going mainstream. Damn. Flow like water, so I'm going mainstream. So I'm going mainstream.
Choppers, better took those risks, open up my fists, we fire starters. I'm one of a million, will reach those heights. Always in the field and then I won't deny that work. Never could toss, look in my eyes, I'm on the rise.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody, and welcome to Friday, January 7th, 2022, I almost said 2021, episode of the Cyber and Security Stream. My name, as always, is Neil Bridges, and thank you for joining me this morning. I am wearing the shirt. I am also double fisting the official hype juice of hackers everywhere. Yes, I have gotten my supply of @root this week, and I could not be a happier narwhal than to have my @root. For those who have heard the rumors of @root, let me show you why I'm so excited. take a look at this can. Is this not the coolest, nerdiest can? That's not the reason I love it, but that is like the coolest reason that I do love it. Completely healthy drink, made with all natural ingredients, energy drink with none of the effects of like some of the other energy drinks out there. I definitely call it the hype juice because I fundamentally do love this stuff. So cheers to everybody out there who got their root in, know that the supplies were backed up for a while. God, that's a great way to start the morning. I do also have, because not to be outdone, I did also bring Putin to this morning's conversation with a little masala chai. So we are rocking the full gamut of tea and root this morning. And I see our Simply Cyber folks joined us as well. Thank you for coming on over from Jerry's stream. Hopefully you enjoyed the morning news. Welcome to all of our new joiners and our regular visitors. This is our Friday morning AMA chill stream. I usually take this time in the morning on Friday mornings. It spans the wide gamut of time zones that we've got. We've got Brian Godfrey, and folks of the like in Australia and New Zealand chiming in at the wee hours of the morning. We got folks in India, UK, and all the way here on the East Coast of the United States, and probably even a few people chiming in on the West Coast. And thank you so very, very much for joining us this morning. This is our short format. I am going to run through our intro super quick. Get your questions in now. This is an AMA stream. Ask me anything. I do have a hard stop in 1 hour because I do have a meeting that I have to go to as well. So we're going to try to crush through as many questions as humanly possible. We do have moderators in chat. I will personally thank each of my moderators each and every stream for their dedication. Moderators are here to keep chat free of sexist, racist, misogynistic, elitist, and otherwise toxic behavior. We have a zero tolerance for toxicity here on this stream. I do trust my moderators explicitly, and their decision is final. With that being said, this is an AMA. I will be answering your questions on stream. However, I only have one rule when it comes to questions. Please only ask your question once. Asking it more than once may be considered spamming and may result in a timeout or a ban from our moderators. So, with that being said, Fasochi rolling through with the early morning question of dictionaries. You'll have to wait because it looks like Brian Goffey's got one. What is your choice of note-taking tool when you are studying on the job? Brian, I'm a OneNote kind of person. When I was doing my pen testing notes years ago when I was on net, Vim was like I would do all of my notes for pen testing engagements on Vim 100%, but now I've moved over to OneNote. And if you were to look at, ask the interns because they get access to the OneNote, for cyber and security. And I keep everything inside of OneNote. So definitely a OneNote kind of person. Speaking of Fasochi, Neil, you haven't, how have you been? Any exciting news or cyber secrets you want to share with the narwhals? Fasochi, I just want to say, I love you to death, man. The support team at INE definitely knows you by name now and sends me anytime you send a message into the support team, it definitely makes its way to me. So thank you very much for your continued entertainment value through the INE support desk. I appreciate that. How have I been? I've been awesome. Like the break was fantastic. The break was exactly what I needed. I needed those 2 weeks off. I hope that everybody understands the value of taking well-needed time off to recoup and kind of get back into the spirit of what makes them passionate about this industry. And so, I'm awesome. I feel good. I feel really good. Any exciting news or cyber secrets you want to share with the narwhals? There is a massive announcement on the INE side that's going to happen Tuesday, Wednesday of next week. We just had a meeting yesterday to confirm everything is a go for it. I can't tell you what it is because this is one that I've been explicitly asked not to say anything about, but there is a massive announcement coming out next Tuesday or Wednesday. that everybody's going to really, really enjoy and love. I think I mentioned on Wednesday stream, if you haven't heard, starting January 25th, Doc Jade is going to be doing study Tuesdays here on the Cyber and Security channel, where he's going to be teaching a multi-week, I think it's 12 or 14 weeks, I can't remember, Python course. Right, so every Tuesday, make sure you've got your notifications on. We'll obviously post it up so that you can set reminders for yourself. But starting Tuesday, January 25th, Doc Jade will be doing a Python course right here on the Cyber and Security channel. That's not really a cyber secret because I kind of talked about it on Wednesday. Other than that, I got a couple secrets, but I'm gonna hold them off to myself for now. Just hold a couple. I'm gonna hold a couple secrets for myself. I gotta keep you on the head on the tip of your toes. Let's see here. Mohammed said, Neil, there's a game on Steam called Hacker Simulator. Have you tried it? I have not. I have found that those games don't necessarily, scratch my itch when it comes to simulating hacking type of stuff. So, no, I have not. TCS Munsar, I saw your question get posted twice. Please only ask your question once. That's your only warning. You might get a timeout or a ban. Reminder to only hit those questions once. Thoughts on privacy versus security debate? I asked because of your unique background, a different perspective. Privacy and security are two different things. Right? If that's not blatantly apparent to folks, privacy and security are two vastly, vastly different things. And even in the realms of privacy, I think that there are vastly different ways that you can talk about privacy. Like, right, these people who are like, Neil, I want an InfoSec job. Let's talk about privacy in that sense, right? Neil, I want an InfoSec job, but I want nothing to do with social media. And I've given this stat before. Go watch my videos, my Ultimate Career Advice video playlist on YouTube. Go watch my 1000 Connect Challenge and look at the statistics that are there, right? 80% of recruiters find their candidates through LinkedIn, right? And so if you're anti-social media because you have a privacy problem, you have literally just cut out 86% of your available recruiting efforts for finding a job. Thank you, Chris, for hopping in and fixing Streamlabs for me. I appreciate you. Now the Streamlabs commands are now working. And so I think privacy, right? And this was a stance that I took a number of years ago. When it comes to privacy, it's important to know that you have privacy and understand how to exercise your right to privacy. But you also have to understand that if you take the very, very far extremist version that you will never touch social media, you are anti-establishment, you are anti this, you are anti that, you're very much like, no, I will be a black hat, hoodied hacker in my basement, lights off, with only the glare of the monitor in my eyes. You're not interpreting privacy in a way that I think is beneficial to your cybersecurity career. Now, let me say that again. I don't think you're interpreting privacy in a way that is beneficial to your cybersecurity career. That doesn't mean I don't think privacy is important, and it doesn't mean that I don't think you should exercise your right to privacy, and it doesn't mean that you shouldn't educate yourself on how to be the most private individual you can. But you have to recognize the reality that the more you encumber upon privacy, the less beneficial it becomes in your job search, right? Yeah, my basement dwelling orc short base case. There's a good short out there on YouTube with me talking about being a basement dwelling orc, right? I think privacy is important though, right? I exercise a lot of privacy. I also use social media, but I'm very, very cautious on social media. There was a question that came up. I'll post it here in a second that talked about, Neil, are you ever going to show are you ever going to do like a video walkthrough of your stream setup? That's one that kind of like, that croaches a privacy boundary for me, where it's like, I worry about my privacy if I were to take a video of my entire stream setup. That's one that crosses a privacy boundary for me. So I believe that privacy is, you should be knowledgeable in it. You should understand how to exercise in it. You should understand when the right ways to exercise in it and when the right ways aren't to exercise in it are there. But it's vastly different than security. And if you're trying to use that as a reason to stay off of social media, then just understand the impacts that it could potentially have. I'm not saying it will have that, but the impacts that it could potentially have to your job search. There it is right there. Have you ever done a stream or video for how you set up your streams and calls? I'd like to. Like for example, the case that I mentioned before for the privacy, but like this couch ends up being a holding area for some of for some of the stuff that I've unboxed but haven't put onto my streaming setup yet. And so if I were to like turn the camera over there, you'd see unboxed worth of stuff hanging out over there on the couch. You could see that my panels have fallen again. And so I've got some new panels now that are sitting in the storage room that I need to put up. So I don't necessarily consider the stream setup done, which is why, again, another reason why I haven't done anything to kind of highlight it. But if you go look at my Twitter feed, Twatter, Instagram feed, you can see various pictures that do show my stream setup. If it is of interest, I'm happy to walk through how I start to set up for a stream, because I do have a checklist and a process for how I start to set up a stream. I'm happy to actually talk through that, if that is of actual interest to anybody. Let me know if that is the case, and I absolutely will. Jeff Manson says, Neil, you've said you're never too old to get started. I'm 59 and have over 25 years of IT experience. Would you still say that? Also, is it possible while telecommuting and possibly as a freelancer? Yes, yes, and yes, but be realistic, right? If you're coming into the industry, and you're trying to get into a different field, one of the things that I see frequently, right, is, Neil, I've got 25 years of experience as a cop. Or I got 25 years of experience in hard labor, right? Can I come into the industry and be telecommuting and be a freelancer? And so the question you're really asking is, Neil, I have no experience. I have no commercial job capabilities that I can offer to a company. Can I be 100% remote, and will somebody pay me for 0% capabilities? And so you need to be realistic with those asks a lot of times when you ask them. If you've got 25 years worth of experience, you want to telecommute, and you want to be a freelancer at 59, just knowing those 3 bits of information about you, Jeff, I absolutely think it is possible. Absolutely. Just a matter of taking a look at that resume and seeing what you got going on for you. But I do think it is possible. Will INE update the content for WAPT? So again, when I talk about asking me anything, you can ask me anything cybersecurity related. You can ask me anything blue team, red team, talk about running a SOC, talk about running a security team, talk about building it from scratch. We can talk about penetration testing. We can talk about any of my work with the National Security Agency. I am also Chief Content Officer of INE. You are free to welcome and ask me any questions that you want to about INE. Just please note that I am not an official outlet. This channel is not an official outlet of INE. And so I do ask that you only rely on the official outlets of INE for any of the things that I say. Consider everything that I say to be hearsay and rumor, unless otherwise confirmed or denied from INE. But with that being said, I will definitively tell you that yes, 100%, WAPT is getting an update. I will unofficially, and hear me when I say those words, unofficially commit to a 22 update of WAPT. Our current roadmap on the red teaming side is PTS, PTP, and then WAPT for 22. That is the current idea on the roadmap that we are thinking about for 22. That's just on the red teaming side. We have an entire blue team that is also working on the blue team. One of the things that I made a point of last year when we hired for the cyber instructors is I wanted a definitive red team staff and a definitive blue team staff so that they could work in parallel to update both red team and blue team type of content. Those questions are not off limits, and I'm happy to answer questions about I&E. Speaking of I&E questions, will I&E not administering AWS Azure now? Can the exams be taken or not? So what Brian's referring to is, and this was one of the things that I wanted to share, but I couldn't share. This is one of the things I was asked not to share explicitly on streams. Most of the folks who took the Azure take a step back for a second. Over the summer, you remember we did redefine in July, and we talked about some new certs that we were going to release. We spent a lot of time and effort in developing 3 certs over the summer. There was a Cloud Fundamentals, an Azure Fundamentals, and an AWS Fundamentals. We ran 3 betas over the summer. For all 3 of those exams. Most of you all who took the betas got the letter last night. I got confirmation that most of you should have letters in your inbox about the status of the AWS and the Azure betas. We ultimately decided, and this is why we hired, and again, I say this is why we hired PhD level instructional designers to help us write certifications as well as course content. This is why there's a lot of effort that goes into writing certifications. We wanted certifications to mean something in the industry. We didn't just throw a certification out there for throwing a certification out there. One of the things that I&E and me specifically, as well as Richard, the CEO, vehemently hate is the influx of certifications that literally have no meaning in the industry. And so when we had you all take the beta, we got the results of the beta, we parsed through the statistical analysis of the results that came back from the beta. Yes, we determined that the way the market was shaped, the way the beta had been gone out, the way that those 2 courses had come through, it did not make sense to your career to give you just another fluff cert that didn't actually matter to your career. And so we scrapped them. And so that is transparency from me to you. We decided not to do that. In terms of your question, Brian, the exams will come back, but in a different way. That content and that knowledge is not lost. We are reincorporating that into the course flow. That will be something that is part of that announcement next week. So, that's a little bit of insight as to what goes on in the course and the exam career. This is why you can unequivocally be assured that any certification you get from I&E will have an amazing amount of credentials behind it. Not just the social credentials that come from the long line of historical success, especially on the eLearn security side, but anything net new that we do is going to be incredibly credentialed. I promise you that. Cybersec Mom Caves, thank you so very much for the super chat. Always excited to see you in chat as well. And Jaws Jack, thank you so very much for your Narwhal Prime membership. Take that one out. TCS Muntz says, do I need strong networking for Cybersec? No, you don't need strong. I recommend everybody have an amount of networking experience. I really do genuinely love the ICD1, ICD2 side from the Cisco stuff. So huge fans of that. But I don't think you have to have a strong networking background for cybersecurity. But I do think it is important that you understand. Abe says, is the networking part of the Security Plus exam enough networking knowledge for SOC Analyst 1 role? I think it's good enough to get your foot in the door. Absolutely, 100%. Absolutely, 100%. What's the secret to having that much energy in the morning? There's the secret, ladies and gentlemen. Hit that exclamation point root in chat. I saw somebody ask about the t-shirt. This is a t-shirt that I got from Root. I'll have to check with my rep and see if they're I'll see if I'll tell you what. Ooh. I'll tell you what. I will check with my rep and see if I can't get some. Get some shirts we'll give away on stream. I do have some swag to give away on stream. Oh my God, I'm gonna do something. If Carmen saw me do this, she would kick my tail. If Carmen saw me, no way to go anywhere. I got something to show you. But don't go anywhere. But don't tell Carmen I did this. Okay. So in terms of swag, the folks at Attack IQ, if you remember when we had Carl Wright on the stream a couple months ago, this is totally a tangent and a pivot, right? When we had Carl Wright on stream a couple months ago, he was wearing a vest that said Informed Defenders on it. And you all or the folks who attended that stream loved the Informed Defenders vest. They sent me 2 Informed Defenders vests. I'm going to drop a poll and see who wants to do a swag giveaway for today. If there's enough interest in a swag giveaway, we'll give away 2 Informed Defenders vests. But I do have, just so you can see, I do have 2 of these. It says Informed Defenders on it. Little vest. It's North Face. If there's interest, I have 2 of those that I'd be more than happy to give away on stream. I did just get those in, but I will ask the folks at Root to see if they have more t-shirts that I can give away. See, sorry about that. I just totally triggers things all the time. I totally got sidetracked there. I'm sure she is over there like, what are you doing? Did you hear about the new JNDI vulnerability? I did not. I did not check my typical news feed this morning. So I did not hear about it. What size someone says? This one says XL. I think the other one might be an L. So that one right there is an XL. That just happened to be the first one that I grabbed in my swag closet. I asked that question already. Here we go. Ryan is nub. You're not a nub, Ryan. You're not a nub. You're just early in the process. Should I try to complete Ecppt and OSCP or just focus towards OSCP? I've heard good things about Ecppt, hoping these will help push me towards the next level of my career. One of the things that drew me to INE was the fact that Ecppt was taking, a little bit more of a forefront, type of credentialed cert over OSCP. OSCP, pre some of these announcements and changes about how they're going to change their exam in the future, OSCP was still very, very legacy and not really focused on real-world penetration testing. And I go back to kind of like the buffer overflow type of stuff that they would teach. I enjoyed taking it the 2 times that I took 2 different OSCPs, pen testing with Backtrack and pen testing with Kali. I've done several exploit development classes. I've got a 0-day, it was 0-day at the time. It's now just a patched vulnerability, but I got a CVE to my name. And it was fun at the time, but completely useless in real-world pen testing altogether. And so I think the answer is Ecppt. I poll the community. Don't let my own influences be here. But I think Ecppt is the way to go. Wow, there's a lot of questions coming in this morning. Got lots of them. Is Rangeforce still a good to go in 22? I haven't reviewed Rangeforce in 22. I don't want to unequivocally say yes, But if it still continues with its current roadmap, then I don't see why not. But I have not done a 22 review of Rangeforce. Happy to if they wanted to reach out to me and ask me to do a review of their. You can go see my review of 21. It's actually almost a year ago now that I've done the Rangeforce stuff. So you can kind of go take a look at that if that's of interest to you. Can you talk about a SOC? Absolutely. SOC stands for Security Operations Center, usually consists of wide varying array of job responsibilities, incident response, some of the tools management, whether it's Splunk, the endpoint detection and response like Carbon Black, CrowdStrike, SentinelOne, a lot of the other tools that go into securing an organization, Proofpoint, Mimecast, right? Any of the DLP software, CASB, Zscaler, right? Things like that. So all that tools management goes into working in a SOC. Depending on how the SOC is laid out, you may or may not have a penetration testing team inside the SOC. You'll oftentimes have a threat hunting team. You may or may not have a digital forensics team. Just depends on the organization. And so there's a lot of things that there's a lot of things that go into working in a SOC. When you look at the different levels of a SOC, I think that when we talk about entry-level jobs for folks in a SOC, I think it is realistic. It is more realistic to expect that your first cybersecurity role is as a SOC analyst than as a junior penetration tester. There is always a need for people to work the frontline defenses in a cybersecurity organization more so than there is folks to do penetration testing. And I think that you're going to learn a lot more about how an organization is defended by being a SOC analyst, which then makes your ability to hack that organization so much stronger, right? I believe that to be a successful hacker, it is important to understand how an organization is defended. And I think the best way to understand how an organization is defended is to actually sit in that seat and defend an organization. And so I think as SOC analyst, one job is an amazing starting point for most people to get into cybersecurity, right? That's probably a good high level, overview about a SOC. If you've got any more specific questions about that one, happy to answer that one. Cool t-shirt. I've been thinking about making a security product to improve the life of those new and or players. I have not run a business before. How did you get started with INE? INE is not my business. I'm the chief content officer at INE. I do run my own consulting company as well. And honestly, I just woke up one day and was like, I really want to, have control over some of the things that I do. So I wanted to do pen testing as a security executive for a Fortune 100 company. I did not want. Somebody asked me on stream. Somebody asked me a super passive aggressive question last week about, Neil, do you choose leadership because you are afraid of, not being technical or getting surpassed by the younger generation of hackers? My answer was no. But I did start my business because I fundamentally refused to be an executive for a Fortune 100 company and not be technical. And so I started my business to do pen testing on the side for companies, to do managed detection and response on the side for companies, and to basically maintain my technical chops in security because I refused to let them lapse. So that was why. Hey, Neil, what's the best way to know which team, blue team, red team, SOC? So SOC is mostly blue team for all intents and purposes. Suits me. Thanks in advance. In terms of trying to figure out which one suits you, this is why I encourage everybody to do the hands-on stuff, right? Go to Try Hack Me. Go to Hack the Box. Go try some of the now that we're starting to get more of the Pen Tester Academy labs into the INE platform, go try the INE labs out now that we're getting the new Pen Tester Academy ones in there, right? On the blue team side, go to cyberdefenders.org. Go to BTLO, right? Blue Team Labs Online, and get your hands on the technology and get your hands on the stuff that you need to do. Because I think, in my opinion, Thanks, John, for joining the membership. Glad to have you on board. Appreciate you signing up for basic mentorship. I will almost always, in 99% of the time, push you, if you don't know where you need to be, to go try the hands-on lab in blue team, go try the hands-on lab in red team, go do the attack IQ stuff. You can hit ! attack IQ to learn the purple teaming stuff that they've got out there. That to me, from my perspective, from my learner perspective, is how you figure out what gets the juices flowing for you in this industry. So that's my take on that. It's not for everybody. Everybody's got their own take on how to do that, but that is definitely my take on it. Fasochi says, Neil, what qualities do you like to see companies have when seeking out a blue team role? I very much look for the things that aren't necessarily job skill related, right? I think job descriptions are like marketing material, right? If anybody's bought anything strictly off the marketing material and then got it home and regretted it, that's what I think a lot of job descriptions are, right? Don't ever take a job solely based on the job description. And so what I have a tendency to look for and the questions that I have a tendency to ask when I talk to organizations is I talk about culture. I talk about work-life balance. I talk about what are the business priorities. From my perspective, when I'm interviewing for a CISO role or when I'm interviewing for another executive role, I'm asking about what does the board of directors think of cybersecurity, right? How important is cybersecurity at the board of directors? What is your presentation like at the board of directors when it comes to cybersecurity? How about other stakeholders in the company? What is their view on cybersecurity? Do you have a lot of buy-in from other business units about cybersecurity? And so it becomes a lot of those things that you can't necessarily get on job descriptions. So not specifically to blue team Fasochi, but more along the lines of, ask the things that you can't tell. You have to be a really good, I don't want to say manipulator, but more along the lines of, you've got to be able to ask those questions, almost like an investigator, like a police investigator that asks the questions and says, well, you said this, but then you talked about this, which doesn't match up with that. And so what's really behind this, right? Type of thing. That's how I would encourage you to think about that question asking process, because I think that's really going to determine whether you get to see what's really behind the scenes from a lot of these companies when you actually go in and do those interviews. John C. says, I have an MBA in cybersecurity, worth noting when it comes to cybersecurity technical skills. I have Network Plus, and I'll get my CCNA very soon. 1 year of on-net experience, and I am unemployed. Sorry about that, John Z. About being unemployed. MBA is nice. Congratulations on getting it. I'd say, let's look at your, go back and watch that Ultimate Career Advice playlist that I've got on YouTube. It's got branding yourself on LinkedIn and how to do LinkedIn hacking. It's got hacking your resume. We'll get back into the swing of things this month with doing our LinkedIn and our resume reviews. You can go to cyberinsecurity.tv. And under the resources tab, there is the resume review rubric where you can self-assess your own resume. On this note, not specifically to John Z's question, but this triggered something in my mind. It's no doubt my DMs get blown up constantly, and I do my ever-loving best to answer my DMs. I want to tell you a tale of two DMs. I want to tell everybody a tale really quick of two DMs. My normal DM is, Neil, help me in some way, shape, or fashion. Neil, I've done this. Neil, I'm here at this point in my life. Do something for me, right? And I'm like, go watch these videos. I've covered this topic here. I'll point them to the Ultimate Career Guidance YouTube videos, everything else, and I never hear from them since, right? Or I'll hear from them a few days later, and they're like, hey, can you take a look at my profile? And I'm like, did you watch my videos? And they're like, no. That's one type of DM that I got. The second type of DM that I got that was even more rare, and I'm not going to put this person specifically on blast, but I want to give them kudos. So if you're listening to me right now, if you're catching me live, You'll know who you are because this was within the last 24 hours. They messaged me, typical DM. Neil, here's where I'm at. Very similar to John's question here. The question they asked me was, Neil, do you have any nuggets of information for me? Responded, thanks for reaching out. Go watch these videos. That's got the information that you're looking for. This person said, thanks. I got a DM from him yesterday. It still impresses me, this DM that I got yesterday. It impresses me so much that I want to share it with everybody. I want to share just a snippet of what the DM said. You know, this is how the DM started, right? Not a hi, Neil, or anything else. You know what? I'm an asshole. I'm reading this directly from my DMs. I'm not even sure you're the right guy, but yet I thought I could just walk in and buy your time without any sense of goal or direction. I've watched 12 hours of your content since I received your response and was put in my place after watching your chat with Joel. I'm going to take a step back and frame a question based on what I learned. Thank you to that individual for A, taking the advice that I give you and coming back and admitting that you made a mistake. So I encourage you to absolutely go watch the content that's on the channel, because there is tons of content that is on the channel that will help a lot of you with some of the questions that you have. So I did want to share that. This had nothing to do with that question. This question just reminded me of it. And so I wanted to take the time to share that DM with all of you. Mohammed says, what is your typical news feed? Twitter. I refuse to follow people who poop post on Twitter. If it impacts my ability to receive the news, then that's fine. I will receive my news somewhere else. But I try to follow only people who contribute meaningful pieces of news. And so I would encourage you to go to my Twitter feed and you've actually watched who I follow. I'd follow everybody if I could, right? But I try to keep my Twitter feed to the places where I feel like I can get relevant news. Because for me, I have found that with as busy as my life is, for me to open up Twitter and see what's happening in the world, honestly, I was a Google RSS feeder. If anybody remembers the old Google RSS feed long ago when Google was doing their RSS feed stuff, that's how I was consuming my news for the longest time until Google shut it down, right? And so that was ultimately when I really moved over to Twitter, and I was like, well, I guess Twitter's my source of news, because I found Twitter to be just a glorified RSS feed for as far as I was concerned. And so I do curate my list. I don't follow drama, right? I don't follow drama on Twitter. I stay away from drama as much as possible. And I use Twitter for it. And then from there, I'll branch out, from other places in terms of, in terms of news and things like that. So Alex says, does your experience in cybersecurity allow a good work-life balance? Do you leave work at work after you put in your 8 hours? This is an ongoing struggle for both Carmen and myself. And I'm happy to talk about this. I'm happy to talk about this, Alex, or anybody else who's curious. I would say up until a year ago, I'm trying to think. Up until a year ago, the answer would have been no. The answer would have been no. I still don't think that I have a good work-life balance now. It could be better, but that's also because I take on too much of my time, or too much other stuff. I have 4 kind of big initiatives that aren't related to work whatsoever that I want to do in 22. But I know that I can't do all of them, but I want to do all of them. And so I'm kind of going through that process right now, where I'm trying to figure out how to prioritize those 4 big initiatives so that I can achieve them in a realistic time period. but those require that I do more work after hours. I want to talk about this. I want to talk about this work thing and this work-life balance, right? A lot of people will talk to you when they talk about work-life balance. They'll talk about, well, if you truly love cybersecurity, if you truly have a passion for it, you're doing it all the time. And I want to talk about how toxic of a mentality that is, right? I have a passion for cybersecurity. And yes, I let that passion cause me to work almost 20 hours out of the day. For a hot minute there, sorry. For a hot minute there, and by hot minute, I mean probably 5 or 6 years, I would wake up at 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, and I would start working immediately, and I would continue to work, I kid you not, until about midnight, 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. And then I'd get about 4 hours of sleep, and then I'd wake up the next morning, I'd do it again. And this included traveling, this included all sorts of stuff that I was doing at the time. I realized that there's a difference between having a passion for something and it being toxic. And that's what I want to emphasize on when we talk about work-life balance in cyber. You can be passionate about cyber and not let it be toxic to your life. When you interpret passion as working 24/7, that's not a passion. That's narcissism. That's toxicity. That is unhealthy, right? If I used to think, listen, this is coming from a guy who used to think that it was cool to talk about only sleeping for 3 hours a night, who used to think it was cool to talk about, yeah, I got up at 4 o'clock in the morning and started working. No, I was up till 2 o'clock in the morning because I was still working. I used to think that was the cool thing to do. And I can tell you unequivocally, at 42 years old, it is not the cool thing to do. That did not impact. I want to tell you this, and Jess just dropped it in chat. Jess just said it in chat. It will not impact your ability to be successful in this industry to have that mentality. And I want to apologize. I know I said to several people growing up in this industry, and I still say growing up, even though this was my post-military career, I know I said to them, if you're not doing stuff on your own, you're not going to be successful in this industry. And I want to apologize to them if they're listening to me right now. That was bad advice that I gave you, and I'm sorry for giving you bad advice. But I could tell you unequivocally that you do not have to kill yourself to be successful in this industry. And so work, I try to make the huge distinction that while I have a passion project for moving all of my honeypots from DigitalOcean over to AWS, it does take work. And so when it starts to feel like work and less like a passion project, I take a break from it, right? If you've tuned into this channel, you know we've been on a huge healthcare kick probably since we moved to North Carolina, probably since probably about June or July, right? And so I can tell you that, ever since I've taken my personal health seriously, I have found that my passions are more passionate. And so I do put work at work, but I also understand that when something is urgent, like I'll get a call, it was over the break. I got an email from a news organization that was like, hey, Neil, can you come and appear on this news broadcast for CBS? I think we were talking about ransomware in schools or something like that, right? It was at 10 o'clock at night. I got up and I did the news broadcast. Why? Because it was important to do. And I made the choice to do it because it was important. And I think that that's what I would encourage folks to do, right? Is have passion about what it is that you do. Be diligent about when you think the things that are important that you need to accomplish for work is, and do the things that you think are important when they need to be done. I'm not an advocate for at 5 o'clock, I don't turn away phone calls for work at 5 o'clock. But I will ask folks who have messaged me after 5 o'clock, right? They'll ask me something and they'll want to have a conversation. And then the next thing out of my mouth is this urgent? Is this urgent? And if the answer is no, then the next statement out of my mouth, either on Slack or text message or a phone call, is then we can talk about this tomorrow. And that is an okay conversation to have, to leave work at the door at 5 o'clock. But it's also okay to do that when you know that when you get that call and that person says it's urgent, you don't go, damn it, I don't want to do this. They're making me work. They're such slave drivers, right? You got to be able to have that discipline to be able to make that call yourself. That's what makes a mature cybersecurity professional. So I could go on rants about mental health in our industry because we're really, really bad about it in our industry. I want to check. I think we're getting up on time. I need to get the giveaways going. Okay, so we're going to give, do not, listen to me. Do not start smashing exclamation point raffle. The mods will ban you. I'm telling you that right now. The mods have gotten to where that's like a thing now, okay? Don't start smashing exclamation point raffle. As a matter of fact, listen to me very, very carefully. We're going to do 2 giveaways, okay? We're going to do 2 giveaways. We want them to run smoothly. Right now, if you're not in Discord, get in Discord. Make sure that your Discord and your YouTube are linked. Because of the recent rash that we've had of people trying to scam, people trying to scam us on our giveaway, we've now had to institute that we will not give a winner their giveaway prize unless their LinkedIn is tied, or not their LinkedIn, sorry, unless their Discord is tied to YouTube. Right? So take the time now to do that. I'll give everybody about 30 seconds to get that underway before we start the giveaway. But go do that right now if you're interested in the giveaway. And again, we will not award you a prize if your YouTube and your Discord are not linked. Okay? We're gonna do 2 giveaways. I knew it would be pretty unanimous. 92% of you said that you wanted the vest, so we will definitely we're gonna do 2 giveaways. I'm gonna go ahead and add this one as well. We're gonna do custom attack IQ vest. Listen, the other thing is you're gonna be messaging Josh Mason. So make sure you find Josh Mason. He's listed in the moderators on the right-hand side. Make sure you can send a direct message to Josh Mason. You are going to message Josh Mason when I call your name as a winner. The faster we get through these giveaways, right, the better off everybody will be, right? I do have a hard stop, and so if we don't get through the giveaways, then we will just not complete the giveaways that we don't get through. I'll be able to push it over 9:30 a little bit. I've got a buffer in there, so we'll go over 9:30 a little bit. So the first one that we're going to give away Adrian Cantrell's All the Things. When Streamlabs in chat tells you to use the command, that's when you can use the command. Is it US only? It is not US only for either of the giveaways today. There's the message from Streamlabs. Now you can do the exclamation point raffle. Good job. Awesome. Let's see here. Mohammed says, in the last stream you mentioned that Alexis Ahmed that runs Hackersploit works for INE. Can you name more YouTubers that you think they teach valuable stuff in their channel? I don't want to show any bias one way or the other. I think the community speaks pretty highly of a number of YouTubers, and so I throw my support behind the community's recommendation. I think the community's voice is incredibly strong when it comes to picking YouTubers that bring value. That's why you all are here, and I truly do utterly appreciate the fact that you all are here, is because you must think that I provide value somewhere. And so, excuse me, I won't let my biases one way or the other point you wrong. I'm not going to be caught up in some stupid YouTube drama over who's good, who's not good, who's bad, who's not bad, who's a grifter, whatever the freak that means. I'm not going to get caught up in that drama, right? Go watch their content. If you gain knowledge from the content, guess what? It's valuable content. I want you to understand something, right? This is why I tell you all to chase knowledge, right? A YouTuber isn't good or bad simply because they talk about a topic X. There are YouTubers out there that are incredibly smart that I couldn't listen to for 5 minutes. And that doesn't mean they're bad YouTubers, and that doesn't mean they don't have knowledge. That just means that for me, I can't listen to them, right? And so what I would encourage you all to do is to watch content and you all determine if it's good or bad. And if it's bad, show that it's bad by not showing up for their content. Right? That's as easy as it is. Because listen, this whole idea that there is a central control of YouTube information, or there's a central consortium of what is good and what is bad on YouTube, is just another form of gatekeeping. It is just another form of gatekeeping. The only determination, listen to me very, very carefully, and I'm very, very serious about this. The only determination of good or bad YouTube content is you. You are the only determination of good or bad YouTube content. That's it. That's the bottom line. Don't let anybody tell you anything different. I'm not going to tell you what's good or bad. Nobody out there on the internet should tell you what's good or bad. You, as a learner, you as an expert or a professional, you should determine what is good or bad. And if it's bad, guess what? You want to know how you fix bad? This is going to blow your mind. This is the greatest cyber secret in the world. You want to know how you determine how you take action against bad YouTube content? You don't watch. That's it. That's all you do. Don't watch it. If you think this YouTube content is bad, don't watch me. My feelings won't be hurt. I'm sorry. Give me feedback. Let me know what I could do better, because I do want the feedback. But that's how you determine. You're the only one that can make that determination. I saw a bunch of soapboxes going around. You could see the gears. You could see the gears in the fire going in my head. I so want to go on a soapbox on this one, but I will not. I refuse to. There it is. I do take a personal offense when people try to gatekeep content and tell people what is good and what is bad when you're not me, right? The reason I spend a ton of time watching content is so that I can determine what is good or bad. All right. Looks like you can no longer enter the raffle. Okay, good, awesome. So it looks like the giveaway has run. We're gonna go ahead and pick the winners. Remember, make sure you are in Discord. Make sure your YouTube and your Discord are linked. Make sure you are ready to message Josh Mason. We're gonna pick a winner for an Adrian Cantrell's All the Thing. I want to thank Josh Mason and the Cyber Supply Drop for providing this giveaway, as well as all Friday's giveaway as part of Friday Resupply. Our winner for this morning's Adrian Cantrell All the Things is Herberto Angueno. I'm sorry if I butchered your name. I really do apologize for it, but please message Josh Mason right now. Please don't anybody go anywhere, because we have had people not respond for their giveaway, and we will re-roll if we don't get that individual. We also have another giveaway to give away after this. Should I lower salary expectations to try to secure a job offer? Kat, This is a hard question. I would encourage you to go watch Wednesday's stream with Joe Hudson. We did talk about this a little bit with Joe Hudson on the stream about salary expectations. Only you can decide if you can financially afford to lower your salary expectations. I do think salary expectations should be managed appropriately. If you are an entry-level person in this field, meaning you are out of college, you don't have any experience whatsoever, you literally are going into the workforce for your very first job, and you're expecting to get paid $150,000, your salary expectations are too high. Your salary expectations are too high. Okay? I do think that you should have realistic salary expectations based on where you live, based on supply and demand. And again, you'll hear me say this a lot. You'll hear me say the supply and demand thing a lot, right? Because there are a million junior pen testers out there. And there are not a million junior pen tester roles in the market space. And so educate yourself, if you're not familiar with it, on what supply and demand is, so that you understand that if you are part of an increasing supply where there is not a whole lot of demand, your salary expectation should be really, really low. So be realistic with it, but also understand, again, only you can decide what your household can bear from a financial perspective, right? Cover letters for breaking into the industry, yay or nay? If so, what should it look like? No, I haven't sent a cover letter in 8 or 9 years. Absolutely not. I think cover letters are stupid. As a matter of fact, I will walk away from job, job submissions that have the cover letter piece as a mandatory field. I will not do a cover letter. I don't care how good that job looks. I will not be doing that. I will not be doing that. I work at Help Desk, built a base with CompTIA certs, and now looking to move into cyber. I'm at a fork between focusing on red blue team. What should you do to get a foothold in cyber? In terms of focusing, if you're at a fork between choosing red team or blue team, I go back to my advice on getting your hands on the stuff, right, through some of the online lab stuff that's out there. In terms of getting your foothold, I'd look for some of those entry-level jobs that we talked about. All right. When you sign in for INE Premium, do you also have access to all current labs from Pentester Academy, including attacking and defending Active Directory labs? No, not yet. Not yet. For now, buying INE Premium does not give you access to Pentester Academy. But if you're forward thinking, I want everybody to put on their I can see into the future goggles, because I know I've got a lot of folks in this community as well as other cyber communities out there that think they can see the future, right? You can see that we're starting to port over a lot of the labs into the platform. Okay? And that should tell you that an integration is happening between INE and Pentester Academy. In addition to a lot of the new courseware development, in addition to a massive announcement that's coming out next week that just happens to be a few months after we acquire Pentester Academy, I know we love to bash on crypto. I saw Ray Redacted's tweet where he was like amazed at how divided his Twitter followership was, right? You were either for crypto or against crypto. And I know that I've brought up, so it looks like we got the winner for the giveaway. I want to thank you very much for responding so promptly to Josh. We will go ahead. Now listen, for this giveaway for the vest, I will ship them internationally, even though it's a pain in the ass. So make sure that you give your name, your email address, and a physical address for us to ship these vests. We have 2 Attack IQ vests. We will ship you those 2 Attack IQ vests. Those are going to come out right now. We're going to go ahead and start that giveaway. So message Josh Mason with that when that comes up in Streamlabs. But anyway, back to the crypto thing. Ever since I've been following this NFT stuff, right? I've been on our cryptocurrency, our Bitcoin, our Ethereum, and a couple other coins that I follow, right? And it is amazing to me how the cryptocurrency followership on Reddit, they follow the coin that they love, they follow their GitHub page. They follow their website. They read all their announcements. They follow their Twitter accounts. The amount of speculation that the crypto community does about big announcements that's going to be impactful for their community, the amount of analysis, if you all want to, when questions like this are asked, it baffles me how cybersecurity folks don't do near the level of research on the companies that they love like the crypto industry does, right? And so I want to see more of that just in the industry as a whole. INE had redefined. We made some big announcements. We obviously missed the deadlines on that. Then we announced Pen Tester Academy. Then we postponed a couple of other things. Now we're saying that there's a big announcement. Now we're talking about a next version of PTS and eJPT that's coming out. And then people are like, well, when can I pay INE Premium and get access to both? Start putting two and two together, and you'd be surprised how smart a lot of you are when you start thinking about some of the rumors that are happening on the back end, when you start doing that same level of analytics. I find that anecdote funny, and I'd encourage a lot of you to, if you put that research skill that you've got into some of the rumors and some of the things that I talk about on stream, some of the hints that we drop in sub chat, some of the tweets that go out, yeah, you'd be surprised. You can figure out what's happening. Sorry, a little bit of a tangent there on that one. Khalid says, do you think organizing is a waste of time? In deep me, I feel like the time I spent organizing my notes, I could learn new things. It's not for me. Like, I have to have things organized a lot. If chaos induces stress. And when I'm stressed, I can't learn anything, right? And so I definitely try to reduce my stress level as much as possible. And so I'd say no. I don't think you can over organize. You can over analyze things to death, and you can let perfect be the villain of good enough. And I would definitely caution you to pay attention to that, but I don't think you can be too organized. Does the implementation of Web3 be able to change the way in which the current InfoSec industry works? I'm starting to believe it. If you go watch a year ago's streams where people would ask me about blockchain a year ago, I was very, very bearish on blockchain a year ago. The way that I've seen the industry change in the last year around blockchain, NFTs, Web 3.0, things like that, 100%. I think I was bullish on cloud, and I have been bullish on cloud, and I will continue to be bullish on cloud. I'm now bullish on crypto. And I don't mean shit coins like Doge or Shibu or anything like that. I'm talking about coins with, with real promise, real projects behind them, blue chip coins like Bitcoin and Ethereum, the work that's going into decentralized finance, the work that's going into decentralizing social media, the work that's going into decentralizing, identity and access management, right? Yeah, I'm now bullish on this. BSEC, you're so funny. I am like, I'm learning a lot. Like, when y'all talk about what I'm learning, the amount of time that I spend reading, like, listen, here's a Neil cyber secret, right? Here's a Neil cyber secret. Neil can't stand to read books. If you catch Neil reading a book, the book is really good, because Neil hates reading books. I love referring to myself in third person, though. Anyway, I hate reading. I really do. But what I will do is I will set up for hours at night. I'll go downstairs. So usually I'll sign off about 5 or 6 o'clock from work, and I'll go downstairs and I'll hang out with Carmen, and we'll eat dinner together. And we kind of have like a 2-hour window where there's no phones, there's no TV, anything like that. It's just us hanging out. But then after that, we'll sit down on the couch, we'll put something on TV, and I will immediately go to do research, right? And I will read stuff out on the web for hours, for literally hours. I will read it until we go to bed at 11 o'clock, and then I'll go lay in bed and I'll read for another 2 hours, right? I'll spend 5 hours doing research. I'll find a thread and I'll Google it, and I'll Google it to death, and I'll Google subthreads, and I'll Google subthreads of subthreads of subthreads of subthreads, and I'll be in a rabbit hole so deep you won't even know it, right? When you see me come into chat, and I'm like, I've got insomnia, I can almost guarantee you that it is because I've been Googling stuff for the previous 5 or 6 hours, and my brain is going a million miles an hour, right? And so, like, yeah, I've started to use bearish and bullish because I have actually found that it's actually a pretty good way to describe, like, how I feel about certain aspects of crypto. Okay, so looks like we've got looks like the timer has run out for the giveaway. We're gonna go ahead and pick 2 winners. We're gonna pick 2 winners. Remember, we're gonna need your name, your email address, and a snail mail address for where we're gonna ship to. Just in case you're curious again, we've got 2 of these Attack IQ Informed Defender North Face jackets. Care of the folks at Attack IQ. Please, my ask is you hit that exclamation point Attack IQ. Go sign up for their academy, free training. You know our rule, do the free stuff first. Do me a favor, at them on Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, whatever your social media of choice is, and let them know that you saw them on the Cyber and Security channel. First winner is Security Guru Guy. I'm so glad to see you, and you haven't won anything in a year. This dude, when we first started streaming, Security Guru Guy probably won like the first 3 giveaways back to back that we did. He's got a ton of hacker gear that he won from us last year. I am so glad. This is one of the loyal folks. He's a founder of this stream. Been here since day one. I'm so glad you won, Security Guru Guy. I'm so glad to see you here. He does a lot of gaming on his Twitch channel. Go follow him over on Twitch. I don't know if you're still gaming or if you're doing any security stuff, but anyway, throw him a follow on Twitter and Twitch. Mark Harvey, as well, is the winner of the Attack IQ vest. Please get that information over to Josh Mason. We will answer a few more questions, and don't anybody go anywhere just in case they don't get their stuff over to Josh in time. Just because I saw this one and we're on the topic of crypto, drop your favorite DeFi crypto. I don't think I know enough to have a favorite yet. I don't think I know enough to have a favorite yet. And I have no problem saying that. My knowledge in crypto, and that's why you don't see me shilling advice, is because I don't know enough yet to be considered to consider myself anywhere in the shape of being able to give advice. I can tell you the projects that I'm interested in, and I'm happy to give the community an opportunity to research those projects to see if I'm full of crap or not. But I'm not smart enough in this space to be able to have a favorite yet. But I'm happy to talk about the projects that I'm interested in. Let's see here. What gaming chair is that? AK Racing? Amazon special? Love those Amazon specials. Hikaru says, I was going to take OSCP and then go for CRTP since the changes a friend of mine recommended me to take the CRTP before OSCP since it will help me secure at least 40 points in OSCP. What do you think? Everybody's got an opinion. Go for it. I don't really have a strong opinion one way or the other. That's honestly one of those times where it's like 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, if that's a familiar one. Is there something I have to do in order to get my question answered? No. Drop your question in. I've got it down to 2 pages worth of questions that have come in today, and I'm sure that I've still missed some. Some questions. I'm going to continue to miss questions. We try to get as many answered as possible while we're here. But honestly, the mods go through and try to pick them at random. I go through and try to pick them at random to keep the conversation flowing and to pick the ones that we think are going to be the most impactful in our short amount of time. What do you think about CRTP by Pentester Academy, and are there methodologies of attacking, defending Active Directory still relevant in 2022? Yes, INE now has the digital rights to the current CRTP stuff that you're seeing out there. So it's all under the same umbrella. How do you keep the corporate folk from sucking the life out of you? Politics is the worst part of corporate life. Politics is the worst part of corporate life. I think that's the part that is the most mentally draining, right? Is the politics that go on in corporate life. How do you keep it? Man, you just gotta try to keep your head above water. It's not easy. Like, I hate to listen. There's not a magic recipe for how to keep corporate life from sucking the life out of you, how to keep the politics from dragging you down, right? You either love the game or you hate the game, right? You either love it or you hate it. Call me sadistic, but I do love the politics. I do love the politics, right? One of the good and the bad parts about being at a small company like INE is I don't have to deal with the politics that I had to deal with at a Fortune 100 company, right? For better or for worse. But I'll tell you, there are parts of me that miss playing the corporate Game of Thrones in a Fortune 100 company. Yeah. So you either love it or you hate it. Yeah. I already answered that one. That one's gone. I already answered that one. That one's gone. Boom. Awesome. Oh, wow. I already answered that one. Look at there. We're good. We're doing good. We're dropping that stuff down. You can make politics fun in a corporate environment. Amoeba just said that in chat, right? You can make corporate politics fun. And I do think the challenge of corporate politics is it gives you that thrill of being able to win somebody over through influence, right? This is why, like, if you saw Jack's Twitter post, right, where he's reading Never Split the Difference on the Plane. I was talking to Jeff. If you heard Jeff on Wednesday, Jeff's talking about, reading the book, Never Split the Difference. I've preached about talking about the book, Never Split the Difference. If a mod wants to drop a link for the book, Never Split the Difference, that's why I love that book, is because it teaches you that art of negotiation, which in a small part is what playing that corporate politics is all about, right? Let's say I get a cert in eJPT or whatever, okay? What are the best keywords to use to find jobs that take those certs, etc.? I've noticed if I search for just a cert name, I get very, very few results. That's because that's not a great way to search for jobs, honestly. It is a way. I would probably put that as a very, very, very low effective rate as you're finding out from looking for a job. If you took eJPT, it is junior penetration tester. And so I've shown this demo. If you go look at the Ultimate Career playlist that's on YouTube, I actually walk through how to do good job searches on LinkedIn. And one of the things I do is I talk about how using that bar up at the top of LinkedIn, you can hit that checkbox and you can look for internships. You can look for entry-level jobs. And I would start there. I'd search penetration tester, or as terrible as it sounds, put penetration in there. And then I would hit that entry-level note and I would go through there. Don't let the cert stop you from applying to a job. Don't let the cert, whatever it is, whatever cert, wherever you're at in your career, don't let a cert or a degree or anything else. Listen, I don't have a bachelor's degree. I don't have a master's degree. I don't have a PhD, right? I have 2 associate's degrees that the Air Force threw at me simply for showing up and having a pulse for 10 years, right? if I let every job description that said requires a bachelor's degree deter me, I wouldn't be where I am today. As a matter of fact, the last three Fortune 100 companies that I worked for wrote exceptions to policies after I went through the interview process to hire me, even though I didn't have a bachelor's degree. So this is as recently as a year ago, 2 years ago, that companies are writing exceptions because you don't have a bachelor's degree. And so what I would say is, don't let the lack of anything, don't be your own gatekeeper is what I'm trying to say. Don't stop yourself from applying to a job, right? You should never stop yourself. You should never be your own gatekeeper, right? So that would be the thing that I'd say is I wouldn't let that deter you. And I think on that note, I am over my promised hard stop of 9:30. I did go a few minutes over. It does look like we did get all of the winners with their information over to Josh Mason. So thank you all for participating. Listen, do me a solid. Do me 2 solids. Only thing I ask of you, right? Hit that exclamation point partners. Find one, any, or all of our partners and let them know that you saw or heard about them here on the Cyber and Security channel. Any and all proceeds, listen, any and all proceeds that are earned on this stream go directly to contributing to the giveaways that we give away. Partners like Josh Mason, the Cyber Supply Drop, provide weekly. Query.ai provides monthly INE premium passes. Attack IQ provides free training, free swag, right? Free experts in this industry to come on this stream and talk. I'm in the talks with 3 Attack IQ experts that are going to come and chat with you all right now. We're trying to set up dates, right? VMware Carbon Black provides giveaways. We're still working on something cool that we're going to do from a CTF perspective with for the Carbon Black, right? These folks are here to support you. And so my ask, my very, very small ask, is that you at them on social media. If you won something today, at them on social media with your winnings. Let them know that you appreciate their support in your education and moving forward in this cybersecurity industry. Second ask, hit those exclamation point socials. Please do follow me on all my social media networks. Please make sure you have notifications turned on so you are aware of all the happenings that is happening with this stream, with this channel, whether it's adding a Python class starting January 25th. Make sure you do show your support for Doc Jade, who's going to start doing a Python boot camp starting on January 25th. Listen, I truly do appreciate you. I appreciate you every Friday morning. Make sure you tune in Monday and Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on the Cyber and Security channel, as well as Friday morning at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for all things cyber. Whether you're on the red side, whether you're on the blue side, whether you're still deciding, keep learning. And I'll see y'all on Monday.
But I'm up now, we all too late to fall. Yeah, anyone coming, I'ma lift them all. Never look down when this risk involved. They got guts, gotta learn, gotta wish it all. Ain't got no feelings, we just floating. Yeah, I'm that grain of sand that made it out the ocean. A couple milli now, I'm causing a commotion. I've been coasting, hear my name around the world like an explosion.
So rise up.